What's going on? It's your boy CJ with CJ Sports and Entertainment. We do sports, football. My Lions pumping through here, Detroit Lions. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe button, little gray button. If you're watching on Facebook, click the link and get you to the YouTube channel. Subscribe. Let me know where I stand. Appreciate it and everything that supporting the videos as well. Let's get into these NBA Game 1 reviews. Instead, I'm doing by game basis. That was all back to back. I just wanted to join them. I just did them all in one bunch this weekend. Cleveland versus Indiana. They squeezed by with a 1-point victory. I didn't know Paul George was so poor with clutch. I think like 0 for 15 in game-winning shots or something like that. Chauncey Billups brought up. But it's clear that Lance Stephenson is the difference on that team. He went to sign with Charlotte, I believe, a big contract to leave Indiana. And they want him to be more of a wing type of player and play off of Kemba Walker and not let him create for other guys and create his own shot. Clippers, the same thing. Chris Paul was the primary ball handler. Memphis, I think he went there. Conley is the primary ball handler. So, his perfect fit is to be the primary playmaker, ball handler with Indiana. They know how to play him, and he was the difference as well, especially with a slumping Jeff Teague. But LeBron, he was just too much on that night. Cleveland, they each by, but Indiana is a tough, hard-nosed team with a guy in Miles Turner, C.J. Miles, Paul George. The list goes on. Thaddeus, they have a lot of good, solid players over there, and I think Paul George is going to resign with them because that team is, if they can get another good star over there, man, they're going to be dangerous. I know they call Indiana nap time because every time a team comes in there to visit and play, all you can do is take a nap. It's a boring time. That's what Peter Vesey used to say. But if they can get somebody else there with Paul George, that team can contend next year for a championship or a spot in out the East. They're a very big team, especially with some development like Miles Turner. But I see LeBron and them still win this like 5 or 6 games. So then you had the Greek Freak in Toronto. And I'll say this about Toronto, man. Kyle Lowry is one of the worst all-star caliber playoff performers I've ever seen in my life. He takes bad shots. He's just a terrible player when it comes to the playoffs. And Toronto needs to deal him in Valanciunas. Valanciunas is such a bum. Milwaukee is a team that doesn't rebound that well outside of Giannis. He was just getting, banged on in the middle. He wasn't an enforcer. Them two guys, they need to move them big money players and bring in some guys, at least create some cap space. But DeRozan did his thing, you know what I mean? But those other two all-star caliber big money players let him down. And Giannis, let him know. Giannis, they had no answer for him. They tried to put P.J. Tucker on him. They tried to put DeMar Carroll on him. It didn't work. You know what I mean? Michael Brogdon outplayed Kyle Lowry. Rookie of the year in my opinion. You had all these other players. Chris Middleton not going to shoot that bad. Chris Middleton's a guy that can light it up for 30, 40, 50 points on any given night once he really recovers from his injury. So you need to look out for him as well. But I think the Bucks might take that serious at this point. I don't think Toronto needs to panic. You had Utah versus the Clippers. The Clippers are a sorry-ass franchise with those players. Chris Paul, Blake Griffin is due to be a free agent as well. Those guys just are not winners, not hard-nosed, tough winners. No blue-collar mentality, no get your hands dirty type of. They all finesse. No rugged. And Jazz is a blue-collar team, hard work and hustle, even without Gobert when he went down with the knee sprain. And Joe Johnson been doing that for his whole career, making big shots. And they talk shit about Joe, but when it's time to get the go-ahead bucket or the game-winning bucket, Joe ain't playing no games. And I think Utah might end up beating and winning that series, but I'm not going to panic for the Clippers yet. A lot of veterans over there, but apparently that is same-ass Clippers we already knew. You go to Jimmy Butler in Boston. Isaiah Thomas lost his sister. Clearly, he wasn't there. I'm not using that as an excuse. I don't see how the Bulls are eighth seed. They play hard. Jimmy buckets. It seemed like Crowder and was shutting them down in the first half or making it hard on them. Jimmy made the adjustment that all great all-star, almost superstar players do. He almost a superstar, and they won. And I think, like I told you guys, I think Bulls can upset the Celtics. That's a good bet on the Vegas books. If you bet on the sports books, Canada, wherever you bet it up, that's a good bet. The odds, I'm pretty sure, is in your favor to make a lot of money on that series. If you still can get it in, get your bet in, get that bet in. Then you had, the Hawks and the Celtics. The Hawks and the Wizards. John Wall showed his ass off. Markieff Morris showed his ass off. Bill, them guys looking like they're on a mission. Only problem with them versus them playing a team like Cleveland is the big guy play. You got to beat Cleveland and Golden State on the boards if you potentially want to be champions. And Gortat is just not playing to that caliber. They got rid of Nene. I think Gortat, get rid of him late next and try to make a play for Jahlil Okafor. Hopefully he can get healthy, but he has more potential than Gortat, and probably try to get you another high caliber, dirty work type of player to get rebounds and block shots. Because Jason Smith is more of a perimeter type player as well. But that's the only problem. Just big guys and the collection of big guys to use bodies and get boards. But John Wall, Beal, Markieff Morris, Kelly Oubre coming off the bench, Otto Porter, they had the makings to be a good team down the stretch later in years to come. You had Kawhi not playing no games with Memphis. He had his way with Vince Carter and James Ennis all night. Paul Gasol had a bad game, but LaMarcus Aldridge had a solid game. Patty Mills and Tony Parker seemed to emerge to have a good game as well. I see that's going to be an easy series for the Spurs. Not easy, but the Memphis is going to compete, but I think that's a 5-game series, not looking at it. Then you got Draymond and Portland. Those two guards, Damian and CJ McCollum, went crazy. Nobody on Golden State can stop them. They one of the top defensive teams in the league, but at the end of the day, they need more help. Newark should be on the way, but they just need more players and more help. And I think if they get them a superstar there, similar to LaMarcus Aldridge was a little bit more aggressive, they're going to be tough to beat in the years coming if they can stick that nucleus team together. And then you had James Harden showing Russell Westbrook who the real MVP was, and he balled on last night. That's going to be a sweep, I can tell right now. And I think Patrick